Hello Kitty murder case. Head was found inside a Hello Kitty toy. Growing up, we all loved Hello Kitty, right? But what if I told you about a case where a head was found on a Hello Kitty stuffed toy? The victim endured a month of torture before her head was decapitated and was put on an oversized Hello Kitty mermaid doll. How did the heinous crime happen? Join us as we uncover the chilling details of the investigation and the shocking truth behind the horrific act. Welcome to AF Crime, the channel that brings you fascinating crimes all around the world. If you're interested in this kind of content, then this channel is for you. Make sure to like this video, click on the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to keep you updated on our recent uploads. Now, let's get right into the video and investigate the crime scene of the case of Hello Kitty murder. Fan Man Yee was born in 1975. Her life was tragic even before she was tortured and decapitated. She was abandoned by her parents and family as a child. She was raised in an all-girls orphanage where she had no luck either. She wasn't chosen to be adopted until she turned 15. In Japan, there are rules and regulations that when a child turned 15, they would automatically be kicked out of the orphanage due to age restrictions. Fan Man Yee, with no other choices, became a prostitute, and along with being a prostitute with no one to turn to, she became addicted to drugs. In early 1996, Fan Man Yee met Leung at a nightclub, and they instantly clicked since they have something in common. They were both drug addicts. They eventually got married and had a son 2 years later, circa November 1998. Fan Man Yee's husband was known to be abusive. Their neighbors would report being woken up by sounds of the couple's fights and the child screaming and crying from their apartment. Upon the birth of their son, Fan Man Yee decided to turn her life around in order to protect her child. She quit drugs and prostitution, got a job as a hostess at a brothel, and eventually left her abusive and violent husband. Due to these sacrifices, she had much lower income and struggled to support herself and her child. In early 1999, Chan Man Lok, who was a 34-year-old socialite drug dealer and was a regular customer of Fan Man Yee, Chan would often pay her to have long sex sessions and ice binges together. Due to Fan Man Yee's financial problems, she stole Chan's wallet, which contained roughly around 4,000 HK dollars. She hadn't realized that Chan Man Lok was the last person she should have stolen from. Basically, when Chan realized what had happened, he demanded Fan to return the money in addition to a fee of 10,000 HK dollars. Fan Man Yee knows what Chan Man Lok was capable of since he was a member of the Wo triad, which involved in extortion, drug trafficking, gambling, and prostitution. She immediately found ways to return the money. After some time, she returned the money she stole from Chan, but she didn't pay the additional fees as she needed more time to secure it. Man Lok became frustrated and had his two henchmen, Leung Shing-cho and Leung Lao, to kidnap Fan Man Yee. The plan was to make her work as a sex worker and take all of her earnings until the debt she owed was paid. But Chan Man Lok was never satisfied and kept increasing the amount. The drug lord and his henchmen soon decided that Fan Man Yee wasn't going to pay them enough by being a sex worker. Instead of making her work, the group got their frustrations out on her, and this is where all the torture started. The three men were high on drugs. They laughed as they burnt her by dripping and melting plastic on her feet, beat her with iron bars, poured chill oil in her wounds, urinated in her mouth, and they would often string her up by her hands with electrical wire. On one occasion, the victim was even forced to eat Chan's excrement. When they would get tired of this, they would go off to the next room to play video games, while Fan Man Yee would drift in and out of consciousness. For over a month, she has experienced hell from these three men. Though the torture of Fan Man Yee was horrifying enough, perhaps the most horrifying is the tale of the 14-year-old girl who reported her murder to the police. Not only was she responsible for turning the murderers in, but she was one herself. The 14-year-old was only known by Ah Fong, a pseudonym given to her by the Hong Kong court. This girl was the girlfriend of Chan Man Lok. Though the term girlfriend was probably a loose term, she was more like one of Chan's prostitutes. At one time, Ah Fong visited Chan's apartment and witnessed how the trio tortured Fan Man Yee. She witnessed how Chan kicked Fan Man Yee 50 times in the head. Then this girl, Ah Fong, eventually joined them, hitting Man Yee in the head. When Ah Fong was asked about them, she replied, "I had a feeling it was for fun." After a month of torture, Chan's girlfriend Ah Fong discovered that Fan Man Yee had died overnight. Chan Man Lok and his henchmen argued that she had died from an overdose of methamphetamine that she had injected herself, though most experts speculate that it was her injuries that eventually killed her. The experts only speculate because there is no way to know for sure after they found her. Soon after the henchmen discovered she was dead, they moved Man Yee's body to the apartment's bathtub and eventually dismembered her with a saw. These men were so horrific, they even cooked the individual pieces of her body to stop her from decomposing and emitting the smell of rotting flesh. Using the boiled water with the same stove on which they were cooking dinner, the killers boiled the pieces of her body and disposed of them with the household garbage. Ah Fong was woken up by Chan with a plastic bag that contained Fan Man Yee's intestines. He instructed her to put them in some hot water to stop them from smelling. The only body part they saved from disposing is her head. After they allegedly boiled the skull of her head, they sewed her boiled skull into an oversized Hello Kitty mermaid doll. In addition, they also kept one of Fan Man Yee's teeth and several internal organs, which they stored in a plastic bag. This was when the haunting began for Ah Fong. She was convinced that Fan Man Yee was haunting her from beyond the grave for what she had done. On May 1999, that is the time when Ah Fong made her way to a Hong Kong police station. She told the officers that she had been plagued by the ghost of a woman for several weeks. The police brushed her off, dismissing her claims as nothing but dreams or teenage nonsense. But the police interests were intrigued when she explained that the ghost she was constantly dreaming of was a woman whom she had a hand in murdering. In exchange for protection, Ah Fong testified against Chan Man Lok and his two henchmen in an attempt to get rid of the haunting she claimed to be experiencing. She detailed the torture that Fan Man Yee had experienced on the hand of these three men. This story was so disturbing, and many felt the resemblance of a famous case of Junko Furuta in Japan. They were both tortured and killed by men. The apartment in which Fan Man Yee had been tortured was full of Hello Kitty memorabilia, from sheets and curtains to towels and silverware. Unfortunately, due to the state of Fan Man Yee's remaining body parts, the police and medical examiners were unable to determine the cause of death. But there was no doubt that she had experienced indescribable torture by the hands of her regular customer and his henchmen. After a trial, which lasted over 6 weeks, on December 7, 2000, the three men were convicted of manslaughter and unlawful imprisonment by a jury. The three men were sentenced to life with the possibility of parole. Leung Shing-cho, one of Chan Man Lok's henchmen, managed to reduce his sentence from life to 18 years on appeal, was released in April 2014. But on August 2022, Leung was again arrested and sentenced to jail for sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl. Fan Man Yee's skull was the only exhibit in the case. They contacted the remaining family of Fan Man Yee, and it was said that the skull was going to be cremated. The apartment building in which the crime took place was demolished in September 2012 and has been rebuilt as a hotel named Soravit in 2016. In honor to respect the victim, 3 Buddha portraits were placed in the hotel as a memorial. The 3 men are still alive up to this date and serving their punishment in jail. May the victim they tortured finally rest in peace. AF Crime strives to bring you more such cases, so if you are interested, do subscribe to our channel where we bring you multiple videos per week. And don't forget to click on the bell icon to receive notification whenever we publish a new video. Till the next case, and thanks for watching.